This episode of the Council of the First Ones was recorded on July 19th, 2020.
Hello, and welcome to the Council of the First Ones. I'm your host, Kelly, admin on the Nerds on the Couch. Joining me today is David. Hey, David, congratulations. I hear Adult Collector just hit 10,000 fans.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, the Origins fans group specifically has 2,000 members, which I'm super excited about.
Nice.
It is amazing.
It's Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it's great that, unlike most Facebook groups, and there are a lot of fantastic Masters of the Universe groups on Facebook, this one and all the other adult collector groups are topic specific, and they don't you can't buy, sell, or trade on them. So it's kind of a different recipe than what you see on a lot of the groups on Facebook.
Yes, it is a very unique group. Also joining us, we have Rex. How are you doing, Rex?
Oh, I'm doing terrific, Kelly. Thank you so much for having me back today.
Anything new happening down there?
Oh, not much. Just trying to get through the pandemic as it's been spiking here in Mississippi. But aside from that, same old, same old.
Okay. And we also have Sean joining us. Hi, Sean.
Hey, good to be back. Glad to be here as always.
Well, and I hear a little one in the background.
Yeah, my son wanted to come down into the basement with me, and he wanted to see what this was about. And I'm like, you have to be quiet. Every time I say something, he's chiming in. But then I say, like, shh, I told you to be quiet. And then he just goes, shh, back at me. I'm like, yeah, this is working very well tonight.
Nah, I miss the little ones. That's the teacher in me, where I was able to pick up the little one right away.
Hey, yeah, actually, can I do something really quick with him since you like to?
Sure.
Hey, come here, Hayden, come here, buddy. What does He-Man say? Can you say it really loud for me?
I am the power.
Awesome, thank you.
That was so precious.
That's pretty fun.
We actually have the Spirit Halloween store. I bought both the She-Ra and the He-Man swords over the last couple years, and he found the He-Man one, and he keeps running around the house terrorizing his sister, and he holds it up and does the I have the power and everything, and it's like, it makes me happy, and then I'm scared to death of where he's going to end up putting it down, because it could be on his sister's head, or could be on my stomach, which he's done a couple times already, and yeah. So Masters is alive and well at my house. So
And at least the Spirit swords are foam, unlike the ones made from Factory Entertainment.
Yeah, some of the ones when I was a kid, boy.
Well, I just ordered the Factory Entertainment 1/4 scale power sword and Skeletor's Havoc staff.
Mm-hmm.
They've already teased that they are doing a 1-to-1 replica of both of them.
That's the one I want. Oh.
They actually showed the 1-to-1 power sword on their San Diego preview YouTube videos that they were airing last week. And they were just starting on the Havoc staff 1-to-1, and they showed the Ram's head on the computer and how big it would be.
Oh, very cool.
Nice.
And then they sweetened the pot for us that love the 80s stuff. They're doing a 1-to-1 on the Sword of Omens.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
With lights and sounds in the hilt.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
That's a miniature, or not a miniature. That's a replica. Yeah. That's the extra mile right there.
My inner 7-year-old's heart just skipped a couple beats on that one, because
Yeah.
It's like He-Man's power sword was cool, but I actually got to dress up as Lion-O for one of my Halloweens when I was a kid, and I had the one where you could press the button and the logo on the sword for the whatever I can't think of it, the Eye of Thundera in it. It would light up and all that. And it was like, that was the first Halloween where I went around my neighborhood and I wasn't afraid of anything because I had the claw shield, I had the sword, my mom made this like a muscle suit for me before they made muscle suits for kids and all that stuff. And I was legit Lion-O walking around the neighborhood, and it's like first Halloween ever where I didn't get afraid of any monsters walking around for trick or treat because I was Lion-O. I was good to go because I couldn't have pulled off He-Man as a kid, but Lion-O, there was something easier about that for some reason. So
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know over the last 2 weeks, we've been seeing a lot of what would have been San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. Funko has a bunch of Masters Pops coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they are going to be, I believe, exclusive. The regular Pops will be in Walmart as an exclusive, starting.
Oh no!
We're
I'm
gonna
sorry.
get into
I couldn't help it. As soon as you said Walmart, oh no!
Oh, they've been making people thrilled for like weeks now with all this stuff going on.
Oh, they're the new Digital River.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll get to talking about Walmart and their blue button of doom.
I love how you said that.
Instead of the white screen, we have that little blue button that I can't stand. But also, Funko is releasing Soda Pop of 2 of the Masters of the Universe characters. Also, that will be only through the Funko website. And I believe it's Mothman, and I can't remember the other. I want to say Beastman, but I don't think it is.
Mothman.
Stinkor wouldn't rate anything. That'd be a bad idea. Yeah, Stinkor stinks. That's right. My son. That's one where if I let my son smell him, he goes, "Oh my gosh!" and he runs away from me. And so yeah, if I say Stinkor, he automatically knows what I'm talking about every time.
Nice.
Now, are you showing him the vintage or the classic Stinkor?
The classics one, because
I
I
know-
actually don't have my vintage one anymore. So
Because I know my vintage one still stinks.
my vintage one did too. I actually did a big trade of a lot of my vintage to get a bunch of classics a couple years ago. But my Stinkor for classics still smells. So I let him sniff it the one time, and then it's one of those, I want to see that every time. Like, that's the one because he remembers that. So it's the whole, I want to hold him. And I'm like, yeah, I know what you're going to do.
Well, actually, my vintage and my classics versions are in locked cases to separate them, segregate them from the rest of the collection to shield them from their odor.
But I haven't seen too many other Masters of the Universe San Diego Comic-Con being released. Rumor had it that Mattel did not do an Origins San Diego Comic-Con, that or they didn't get it in time. And their whole, so next year?
I want to mention that just like other rumors that have been going around this year, that is, there's no evidence whatsoever to support that there won't be any kind of exclusive for Masters of the Universe like that.
Yeah, because I know Mattel has started to release some of their, what would have been their San Diego Comic-Con to Entertainment Earth, but no word on Masters.
Yeah, they can, come out within the next month, let's say. I'm confident that Mattel will give us something. And if it's not sold right away, then, it could be held for, some other month this year. Who knows? We'll see.
But oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, the way that this is working out, I almost feel like there's companies that probably are breathing a sigh of relief in some ways if they're going the Walmart route versus they have to have it at San Diego. Like I'm curious, like we always talk about the new normal with all this stuff, and it's like this could be the beginning of something that could keep going, possibly. Like if this goes well, who knows? And depending how the companies even react to it, for movies, for the toys, for exclusives and everything too.
Well, if the new normal is more toys showing up at Walmart,
I'm not saying that's a great normal. I'm not.
Walmart needs to expand the toy section more than 2 aisles, at least in New Jersey.
Oh yeah. I was actually at we have a super Walmart here in Mechanicsburg, and I was there last night, and they still have stuff from like 2 years ago for Marvel Legends even. So like anything that I was hoping would be there, it's like nope. They had Mega Construx figures. That was the closest I had to anything Masters on the shelves over there last night.
Right.
At least you saw that. I haven't even seen any Master Constructs in the couple of years that they've been out in New York. I always had to ask someone else to pick them up, and he would send them to me.
No, they had the 2-pack of He-Man and Beast-Man. So I know that was there, and then the other week they had Prince Adam and a couple other figures, and they were on clearance already. But no Origins. Basically anything that you would think, oh, it's right out, it should be there. No. It's like, yeah, Pennsylvania, the land that time forgot. So yeah.
I'm right next door. It's on just as New Jersey with the Walmart.
Well,
and
maybe
getting
now. Go ahead.
Getting them online is a challenge.
Well, it has to bring back the idea of the Matty Collector days for the people that were there trying to get figures on the day of release, I'm sure, because I know I've seen in the Origins group, David's like, I haven't been lucky enough to get any of these online yet and stuff. It's like, that's just nuts, like it was with some of my...
If it wasn't
even
for
this
David,
Matty Collector.
Yeah, I kind of miss Matty Collector, the fact that we had a subscription and we could just look forward to, oh, here's my figures for the month. I think Pixel Dan, he had a video talking about partly it was focused on the Ghostbusters, but it was talking about this new reality of Target and Walmart being it for toys at retail. What the options the toys companies have, and it's pretty unfortunate. I've definitely, I'm right in there with everybody else. I feel the pain of not being able to get these Origins toys. I was very lucky with He-Man and Skeletor, and I even lucked out with one Sky Sled. But then after that, I remember me and another guy, we were sharing information, and we were all day on a Sunday, we were trying to get Battle Cat, and I had well over 12 opportunities to try to get Battle Cat. He was in stock because Battle Cat was refreshing every 15 minutes on the dot. And every time it sold out before I could get him in my cart and check out. I mean, the experience I had with that makes me firmly believe that people are using those shopping bots like they use with, with collectible shoes, for example. Anything that they can make some money on, they can stick on eBay. They're going to use those bots to get. And so, a lot of these Origins figures, they're showing up in the hands of scalpers, and you see that they're on eBay. You don't see a lot of them on the Facebook groups that do buy and sell. because they're not Masters fans that are getting these. These are just generic scalpers that are out there hawking their wares on eBay.
Well,
Yep.
I feel like Mattel missed the mark with this, because I remember them saying that this was going to be widely available when it hit retail, and I know the scalpers are really pushing this on eBay the way you just mentioned. That's up to $100 on some items that are being sold for $14.92, and it's just ridiculous, honestly. I think Walmart should really limit the number that they allow people to put in their cart or sell. I mean, purchase.
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that, as frustrating as it is the figures aren't really released yet. The people are saying, because there has been unfortunately, there's been no official announcement about the intent of how these are going to be distributed over the summer. Mattel's message has been, these are coming in the fall. These are coming in the fall, which is true. The fall, which some are saying is August 1st, is going to be the official start of this, which is coming right up, which is awesome. We are going to see them at retail in the stores, but for now, and I know that some Skeletors are starting to trickle in here and there, but this is basically a preview, is what we're seeing. And again, it's, Mattel hasn't said officially that it's a preview, but that's basically what it is. We're getting this taste for Origins in the early onset, and hopefully we'll all have all of the Origins figures we want on our shelves. Here's hoping.
Right. And also, Mattel did say last year at PowerCon, at least for the rest of 2020, they are Walmart exclusive.
In the U.S.,
which
yes.
Means, right. But as soon as 2021 comes, we'll be able to find them at Entertainment Earth. We'll be able to get them on Amazon, hopefully Target.
Yeah, Big Bad Toy Store. Right now, the pre-orders have been internationally on the Amazon's UK website and I believe their German website. And there are a lot of smaller websites that have been offering them. I know of one collector who reached out to me and said basically this one website ripped him off, and he knew definitively after a while that they were just scammers, and that's unfortunate. But the more big retailers that can offer these, the better, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, so maybe this preview is also to give Mattel an idea of what the demand is going to be like.
True.
So they can plan accordingly.
Yeah, from the way that I've seen it, like anybody who basically, it's when people see them, they're grabbing them. I mean, granted, they're with not with classics, since that was an online thing. This is the first since 2000X we've had a chance to see this stuff on the shelves again. Mm-hmm. And for people that maybe didn't know about classics, and now it's like, hey, we're seeing He-Man again. I'm sure there's people out there going, oh my God, I remember He-Man. They're gobbling it up. And for me being who I am about them, I'm still more, let me have my classics, and the Origins, I'm kind of, I'll see what happens. Honestly, I'm going to probably buy them for my kid, since he's so, he plays he'll grab my classics off the shelf now, and he'll just start playing with them. And I'm like, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, this He-Man you can play with. The other ones don't touch. Here's the Skeletor. Here's this Battle Cat you can use, or whatever. And he'll sit there for like half an hour, Ram Man, Skeletor, He-Man, Battle Cat, and have this whole story he comes up with, and he's 3. And I'm like,
nice.
I'm getting a time machine right now just looking at him doing this, going, I know how that felt. That was awesome. Mm-hmm. But the thing I was trying to say before I just tangented was, I feel like there's a lot of people out there who are saying a lot of good about the line, and they're really pleased with the line. And I haven't heard too much negative in the way of like the presentation of them, in people getting them and not enjoying them or whatever. And it's like, that speaks highly, at least, that, the product is going to hopefully be, something that brings people back to it and brings, more waves at us as the time goes on and stuff too. So
right. And one thing that's promising about this line is, for people who don't like, for instance, the sculpt of the He-Man head or the Skeletor head, that's fine. There will be plenty of He-Mans and Skeletors in this line, I can assure you. I mean, the price point is super cheap, first of all, and we're gonna get plenty of variants of He-Man and Skeletor, and they'll have lots of different head sculpts. I'm sure that's one of the great things about this line is it's interchangeable. You can take them apart. You can say, okay, my definitive He-Man is this with these arms, with these boots, this head. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, that's what I like about it too. The only thing I wish was, I know they're very bright because they're going on retails.
Right.
Into retail, and from watching all of Scott Knightlick's videos, I know it's to catch the eye and all like that, but I wish they'd just put a wash on them so they're just a little toned down. But I know I'm going to be more of a cherry picker with this line. Like, I know I want to get a lot of the Sky Sleds because I missed out on the classic Sky Sled. And it's not that much of a difference that it can fit in with the classics.
Yeah, I agree with you on the wash part because that hair on He-Man is still like, when I see it in the photos, it's just bright. Like that is so, I don't know. It's very, very weird to see. Even like the originals, if you look at the vintage figures, it wasn't nearly as bright on him as it was. And it's like, there was the color, but it's definitely, like it's toned down a bit. But, that's the thing that with the price point and all that kind of stuff, you gotta figure what are you going to get versus what are you not going to get. And the articulation is the main selling point in this line versus worrying about paint apps and washes and stuff.
Well, one of the things I look forward to is the customization factor for us customizers to be able to do paints and repaints and remodeling the figures, taking armors off and changing the figures pieces out. So that's going to be a customizer's dream right there. But I'm agreeing with Kelly about the Sky Sled because there was always the bad guys had their version of the Sky Sled and the good guys, the heroic warriors had their version of the Sky Sled, and it comes with interchangeable pieces to it, so you can have Sky Sleds for everyone.
Yeah. How many Zodacs are you going to buy?
How many Zodacs?
Yeah, like I know Rex has like his Zodac. He's got his Cosmic Enforcers basically. Like he's got the whole thing. He shared that with us. It's like, are you going to do that again with this line?
Yeah, I'm thinking about trying to recreate that and expand upon it with several other figures. It's something that I enjoy doing in my spare time.
Man, you're going to have like a country. You're not going to have just like they're not going to be the Cosmic Enforcers. They're just going to be the universe of Enforcers at that point.
Right.
Well, basically, I have one colossal room in my house that's dedicated to Masters of the Universe. Everything that I have collectible goes into, and basically, it's been Christian Eternia. Literally, it's a planet unto itself.
Nice.
Nice. One thing I'm very, very excited about with Origins are the mini comics. And you've got what is it? So Robert Rudman, he does the story. I'm not sure who the artists are, but I want to see more mini comics. And I know that unlike the WWE figures, which each one comes with a different comic, but the story itself is only one page. With the Origins figures, each wave will have a beefier, a thicker mini comic, but it's the same mini comic in all of the Wave 1 figures, and it'll be the same comic in all of the Wave 2 figures. I hope that we get some kind of like a mini comic pack or maybe an actual DC comic series for the WWE or the Origins or a mix of the two. I want to see more story with Origins.
I still think we solved that problem really nicely on the one episode that we were talking about Origins, where utilizing the multimedia aspect of what we do in life now versus the way it was when we were kids. Like I love them. I'm not saying the mini comics are a bad thing at all. I love that they're going back to that because there's this. It feels like home to have those back. But the idea of you could tell some of the mini comic story in that, and then go, to see what happens next, go to Mattel.com/ Motu Origins or whatever, and then they could be doing something where maybe like He-Man.org has the Masters Mondays or something, and then they could actually track then the amount of people who are excited to get more story each time they post something online, and it gives even fans something to look forward to each week with this stuff. And I'm like, I wish they kind of thought of it in a little broader scope than just here's a mini comic and it's all contained within that, or it's
right.
That's just me. But
well, I have a feeling they're just testing the waters, because Mattel did something like that with the Monster High, with their Ever After High series.
Yeah.
I can't see why they can't jump from the girls' line to the boys' line. I mean, Mattel's doing that with the blind box mini Castle Grayskulls with the figures. If you can find them at Walmart, they're just starting to appear. But that's blind bag's been huge in the girls' aisles. It's just starting to trickle into the boys' aisles.
I'm wondering if we're going to see the Masters of the Universe Eternia minis with the Snake Mountain casing that we saw previewed in the last Comic-Con. What was that? WonderCon, was it? Did they show that?
PowerCon.
PowerCon, that's right.
Because the original idea was Castle Grayskull would have all your heroes. Snake Mountain was going to have all your bad guys. Maybe they're two separate boxes that are coming out, but I know that the Castle Grayskulls have been hitting, and there's bad guys in them.
Yeah, I assume that they're saving the Snake Mountain design for Wave 2. If they haven't Wave 2, which would be exciting to see, because they've got that beautiful display box that's in the style of Castle Grayskull. It would be great to get a Snake Mountain display box as well.
Oh, yes.
and by the way, for our listeners, on the bottom of those mini comic, those little Grayskull cases is a code, and on the Masters of the Universe Eternia minis page on Facebook, you can find all of the codes that'll tell you which figure goes with which codes. So you don't have to. They're no longer blind boxes. You know exactly what you're getting when you buy them.
Nice.
And I can tell you which one's going to be the hardest to find. Slime Pit He-Man, which is going to be H.
Right.
Well, that is the Chase figure that they did announce at PowerCon last year. I think it's a 1 out of every 20 or 1 out of every 12 that they made.
So
But
they're
it's
not
the
making
most
them ridiculous.
Right. That's why it's the Chase figure. What I want to know is, will it be in scale with the original minis that you bought off the Maddie collector with the Build the Castle Grayskull? Or are they going to be a slight size difference? Because they didn't show that at PowerCon, and I was just looking at my minis that I had from Maddie Collector days. Still wish they'd put out the Snake Mountain and the She-Ra, but they dropped that after showing it. But I'm wondering on the scale if it's smaller or bigger.
Yeah, that's a totally valid question. I can't think of a review that I found yet online. Maybe there is one that has that comparison.
I feel like there was.
I don't think Pixel Dan got the minis yet. Otherwise, it would have been up by now.
Right, yeah. And I want to look for them. I haven't. Maybe somebody can send me a link to them on Bricks. What is that called? Brickseek.com. I haven't found the link to those yet, so that we can search by zip code and try to find a store that may carry them.
Well, I believe they're also going to be Walmart.
Yep.
Well, they're already showing up on eBay for sale as well.
I'm not buying on eBay. No thanks. No
Yeah.
way. I don't.
I'm
I'll
passing
mention. What's that?
I'm passing on them on eBay.
All right. I want to mention that on the Origins fans group, where we talk about the Origins figures and the new WWE Masters of the WWE figures, we don't even allow images or links to eBay. We're totally anti-eBay on that group. One thing I wanted to mention about the Origins figures is that Mattel has shown us 4 silhouettes of figures that are going to be included in a fan vote, and Monday, tomorrow, we're going to see who those characters are. It'll be exciting to see who they are and who comes out on top of that fan vote.
Based on the
Ooh.
silhouettes, I think one of them looks like it's going to be a Man-at-Arms, maybe.
Yeah,
But,
it must be a variant. Yeah.
Either that or the other option is they just did silhouettes of what they've already had out just to say, hey, we're going to do them like this or whatever. And then it turns out it's a whole different figure they're doing, but it's just to get, stir the pot, basically.
No,
But
I'm sure that those are the actual silhouettes of what we're going to be offered in the vote. And yeah, one of them looks like maybe a Keldor. We'll see. One of them definitely looks like a Triclops, but I would say most likely it's not going to be the actual Triclops figure because that's a given. You can't say, well, Triclops didn't get the vote, so he's not going to show up for a few waves. No, it's going to be these are going to be variant figures. I'm very curious to see if we're going to see mini comic variants or maybe even some other kind of variants like, I don't know, 200X or Filmation or something like that. We'll see.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. They had another one that I felt like the silhouette looked like He-Man again. So
Slime Pit.
Slime Pit or what, maybe Filmation or something. Yeah, Anti-Attorney even or something. And if they do that route, that one's probably going to win because people are nuts about that guy still.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's going to be like a battle armor He-Man or something.
I want to say that the way the silhouette looks, it actually, you can tell that the harness is still on him. You can see little,
right.
Like the indentation of the harness is still on him. So Anti-Eternia probably makes more sense at this point, or Slime Pit more, because he'd have a different kind of looking silhouette with the way the battle armor wraps around him.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite variants. So
it might be a faker then.
But,
well, not Faker, because
yeah.
Faker has Skeletor's armor.
Yeah, it has the He-Man looking harness, not the Skeletor one.
But
unless they're doing unless they're doing the Filmation version of Faker
with the glowing eyes.
Ooh,
yeah,
that would be awesome.
That would be interesting. And I don't want to buy a whole figure just to get the glowing eyes, but I would anyway. And I have an extra Origins He-Man. I've been planning to get out to a store and get the paint so I can paint the eyes white for that reason, yeah.
Well, we know who you're not voting for then, right?
Right.
There's three other ones that are options.
Well, sure. Why would you pay for a totally, it's a figure that's the same as He-Man, but his eyes are white when you can get a whole new figure like Triclops or what have you. And the character in the upper left corner of that image that's on the official Masters of the Universe Facebook page, looking at the armor silhouette, both at the waist and on the torso and at the shoulders and the head, it kind of looks like either Prince Adam, which several people have said it looks like, or maybe a Keldor, but I'm not sure about that one.
Oh, it
might
be a transformation He-Man from Prince Adam to He-Man.
I'd say it's probably more of Keldor since Prince Adam's already been released with the Sky Slut.
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say
it makes more sense.
I think it probably would be Keldor because it looks like he has long hair,
Mhm.
and it looks like yeah, it looks like the Skeletor armor because of the fringes on the side or whatever those are
shoulder.
on his shoulders. Yeah.
Look, if you look at the image, look at around the you know, the like the waist, well, not the waist, the on the torso, this on the sides. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Well, here's the other option. What if it's multiverse Keldor?
Multiverse Keldor? Oh.
Yeah, like from the multiverse
nice.
comic, because he kind of had that Prince Adam look going on, and he had the hood, and that could be what that is around his neck there. And then also, real quick, looking at the upper left one, the one that I was saying looks like He-Man, that looks like it could be a Filmation one because of how the hair's draped there. Interesting. It'll be, I don't know, it will be interesting to see what plays out tomorrow then.
Of course, by the time this episode comes out, people will already know. And they're like, why are you're listening to this? Why are you speculating? We already know.
But we don't now. That's the difference.
Right.
That's the difference.
But we also got to see for the WWE Masters, that Snake Mountain ring.
Yeah, there's our Battle Armor He-Man with Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
So excited for that figure.
Yeah, that actually was, and Stone Cold even, which I didn't think they'd go there, but they did. So.
And he has.
They're bringing everybody in.
You thought it was kind of unique how they changed the Terror Claws into Vipers.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, those look amazing. But you know, the playset itself, I'm like, I've thought many times about what a Snake Mountain wrestling ring might look like, and it didn't. It's, I'm not too thrilled with how that one came out with the, you know, just the snakes on top like that. But still, it'll be fun.
For me, with any of these things, I'm always Mr. I just want the figures. I don't even worry about, unless it's like Castle Grayskull or something. Then it's like, then it means something to me. But if I got the wrestling ring and it came with the two figures, the wrestling ring is probably just going to still be in the box, and I'll just have the figures on the shelf being like, I got that. I'm good to go, you know. And with the price put on these, it doesn't make me feel that bad about it because it's not like I'm spending, $80 or $100 for some of this stuff. Like you would if it was a classics version or whatever, depending how you get it. So
it's worth pointing out that the Snake Mountain set with the two figures is $50 right now on Walmart's website as a pre-order.
It won't
really?
be there.
Really? I pre-ordered it for like $30.
I will double check, but that's the first price I saw.
First day it came out, I pre-ordered it right away, and it was like $32 plus tax and shipping.
WWE Universe.
Well, the thing for me is like, okay, but you got
it before they change their mind on the price.
I guess.
Yeah.
I ordered mine right away.
They're probably tracking all this stuff and going, hey, that $14.99, no, $20.99 now, because it's like, look at how much these people want this stuff, and it's like, great. So like I said, I predicted it not years ago, but I predicted it earlier when we talked about the Scareglow, $100 right off the bat, you're good to go. So there you go, because he's coming up, but it's down the line. So.
Well, that's one of the funny things for the WWE figures. You're seeing that they're out of stock for Walmart.com, but they have third-party retailers selling them for like $20 or $30 for the WWE Wave 2 or 3 figures.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it has been very challenging to try to get these toys. Thankfully, people are seeing more and more of them, the WWE figures, at Walmart's retail locations, at the stores. So, by the way, we're going to be seeing reveals of new Masters of the WWE Universe figures, most likely at the upcoming online SDCC event. There's going to be a big WWE panel, and I have very high hopes that we're going to see some new reveals for this toy line.
Oh, yes. I'm looking forward to next week with all the online panels from San Diego Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
No waiting forever to get your badge. No waiting forever to get into the panel room and hope there's spots. And no spending $400 for a ticket to get in. It's totally free next week. I mean, it was funny. Earlier in the week, San Diego Comic-Con, they sent out a teaser video. Don't you miss these escalators? Don't you miss this? Don't you miss that? I'm cracking up because anyone who's gone there can tell you about those escalators, because that's the only way to get between the levels. You're not allowed to use the stairs. You can't use the elevator unless you have the handicap badge. And on the second floor is where all the panels are kept. And I can still remember sitting outside from 8 a.m. for 10 a.m. Maddie Collector panel, room 23, A, B, and C. Oh, God, I still even remember the panel room number. And camping out in it just so you had a decent seat so you could see the reveals.
Yeah, it'll be fun that, we're all going to be online this year, all of us enjoying the reveals at the same time. And it's one thing I wanted to mention with these online panels is that one of the Masters of the Universe Revelation writers is going to be attending one of the panels. Her name is Daya Mishra, and she's going to be in a panel called The Most Dangerous Woman at Comic-Con, Building a Better Heroine.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's coming up at July 23rd at 6 p.m. Pacific time.
And most likely, since they're all being connected with YouTube, that if you don't make it at the exact time, you'll probably be able to see it at a later time.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you can, watch the panels and such after the fact, after they're done.
Oh, yeah. It's not like the traditional San Diego Comic-Con where when I used to go, Val actually asked me if I was a robot. He saw my schedule where I literally would time how long would it take me to get from point A to point B and have every second timed out. So I wouldn't miss an interview because I was covering it for the Great Rebellion webpage before Nerds on the Couch took over. I was literally covering the floor besides the panels. I still can't understand how I survived those 5 days on maybe 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
5-hour energy and Red Bull were your best friend.
Oh my.
Actually, no, I didn't even have any of those.
Well,
because I needed to travel as light as I could because I had my film equipment in my book bag, plus food.
Wow.
You get bottled water easily because if it went over, I think 95, they actually would hand out bottles of water to everybody.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really smart.
The only thing I'm going to miss with the at-home San Diego Comic-Con, Marvel and DC won't be there. They're not going to do any panels.
Oh, yeah?
DC is going to have their own version of Comic-Con later on. I think it's going to be on their DC Universe app. Marvel, the speculation is during the NBA playoffs, or however they're doing that bubble in Disney World, That's
Mhm.
when we're going to get bits and pieces of upcoming events with Marvel,
Oh, I see.
because both of them would be in Hall H, which is the big auditorium.
Hmm.
That
Okay.
to get into that hall, people camp out overnight.
Wow.
I was there when they did the Twilight movie in Hall H. People were
Mhm.
camping out for 2 to 3 days to get in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see a preview of the Fisher Price?
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see a preview of the Fisher Price Master Universe they're coming out with in the San Diego Comic Con?
I hope. Well, we've already seen pictures of them because I know I ordered a set already, and
Yeah,
they're
they're
supposed to be
on
released.
BTS.
Yeah. Also, deepdiscounts.com had them too,
Mhm.
Well,
and
I know they're on Big Bad Toy Store.
they're supposed to be shipping out sometime this month.
Yeah, it's almost the end of the month, so yeah, we'll be seeing those in our mailboxes very soon.
Yeah, unless the shipment got delayed because of the COVID, because originally them and the Mega Bloks Rotan were supposed to be the first week of July,
The
and
Rotan, yeah.
they were pushed back twice.
Hmm.
So it could be a casualty of COVID that things are just taking a little longer to get across to the
Yeah,
retailer.
could be. Well, I know that, yeah, there have been some delays. I had an order, well, I have an order of some Origins figures, including Orko, Man-at-Arms, Trapjaw, and such, with the it's like Heroes Hideout website, and I haven't even received my He-Man and Skeletor, and I called them, and they said, yeah, Mattel's very much delayed on trying to get stuff like that out because of the pandemic situation. I don't know if that's just an excuse, but we'll see.
Well, figuring most of the stuff is manufactured in China,
Mm-hmm.
it is very possible, especially with the shipping. We don't know how long the ships were down and whether or not they're letting the different ships from different countries into the ports.
Sure,
Well,
yeah,
they
there's a
probably
lot
have a
to it.
quarantine period on them once they come into port.
And you have you have to have the manpower, at the ports, on the ship, at the factories, and everything else. I know that here in Seattle, there have been huge delays to try to use the ferries, and the ferry routes are down in some areas to one ship, which has made it miserable for people trying to get around. And so I can absolutely see, imagine there being delays with the physical shipment of the toys.
Yeah, because I'm figuring what the cruise industry is going through, and I know there's a bunch of people still on those cruise ships that have not been able to get off because no country wants to let the boats dock. I can see it happening with the goods too.
Right. Yeah.
Have we heard any more about the delays or upcoming shipment for Snake Mountain?
Maybe we'll hear this week when Super 7 does their San Diego reveal.
Yes.
But that's another one that I figure maybe end of the year we'll get.
Well, and thank you for bringing that up. I'm very excited for Super 7's spectacular Stay-at-Home-a-con special event, which is promising to be very exciting. They have different themes each day. It's going to be July 22nd to the 25th, and the first day is going to be dedicated to Ninja Turtles. Four Horsemen Studios has come up with their beautiful Ninja Turtle Ultimates figures, and so they're going to have an exclusive Baxter Stockman exclusive that they're teasing. And some Ninja Turtle reaction figures, I believe, too.
Yeah, Super 7 is always good at San Diego Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they normally take their storefront in San Diego and transform it into different themes.
Right.
For the longest time, it was for the Masters of the Universe. Last year, it started out as Masters of the Universe and then switched to their Hollywood Monsters theme.
Right.
So I can't wait. And we know the sculpts are going to be fantastic coming from the Four Horsemen.
Oh yeah, anything from the Four Horsemen just nails it. Whether it's Mythic Legions, whether it's the Ninja Turtle Ultimates figures, or the Thundercats Ultimates figures. And they've got some music bands they're making Ultimates figures for, along with of course the Conan the Barbarian Ultimates.
True.
I feel it's weird in the fandom. There is this feeling of what's the thing that's going to drive people nuts this week though, and the thing that I noticed in a few groups was, where's my Snake Mountain, and it's like there is bigger things going on here than Snake Mountain, and it's like worldwide there's a bigger thing going on. You will get Snake Mountain. It's not like they're taking your money and just going and retiring, like. And there's these people that it's like, that's the first and foremost thing. And it's like, yeah, everybody wants certain things that they want, and we're not getting them. We'll get them eventually. And I feel like those guys from Super 7, those guys cannot catch a break in this community no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's like they give us the Ultimates line, and then people had complaints about some of the things with that. And then they bring in all the other stuff. And there's QC things and all that. But it's like, I don't have any ill will towards them. I'm actually happy that they wanted to take up the torch and keep running with the line when Mattel was like, maybe we're done with it and all that and stuff like that. So it's like, the people that are giving them that, I've seen it in more than a few groups. I don't know what made them decide this week was the week they wanted to start complaining again or whatever, but it's like, okay, it's that 1 week, and then the next week it's Revelation for what that's going to be on Netflix, and I'm like, can we just be patient? It's okay, like, you will get this. It's like everything right now is slower than usual. That's the nature of what we're going through. It is what it is. But yeah.
Well, and I commend Super 7 for trying to bend over backwards to please all of the fans, the collectors, and to give us the best products possible. And I really appreciate that they're taking their time with these toys, that they want to make them better, they want to improve, they want to give us the best quality. And so they're going to release the toys when they're ready. They're not going to be like some other companies that might, try to push product out, and I don't have anybody in particular in mind, aside from like EA Games or some video game company, but they're like I say, they're taking their time. We're going to get the best product they can put out, and I love that.
Well, and on top of that, I love that the last wave for classics being the movie figures. That was finally the wave where it was, I couldn't hear anybody say a bad thing finally. And it was like, you want to talk about going out on a high note. It's like, I know Snake Mountain obviously is the final high note that hopefully they go out on. But that was just amusing to me. It's like, I found the Ultimates, the first wave of Ultimates actually were really cool. I was really happy with that line. And I know there were some things here and there in between there that made fans have iffiness about it. But then it's like when the movie figures got released and people were holding, here's Dolph and here's Frank, and it's like, and so many people were going over the moon about it. It's like, yeah, just give these guys a chance. Like, you don't have to be so critical and like, get out the torches and pitchforks every time they release anything. Jeez.
They were treating Super 7 like they were Digital River. I mean, Digital River, I could see those pitchforks coming out.
Right.
Because trust me, I wanted to go and kill them a few times myself. Still looking for my classic Roboto.
It'll be so exciting to get Snake Mountain. It's going to be one of the highlights of this year for toys, for sure. And when it does come to us, we're going to be playing with them with our old classics toys and the Origins toys. I mean, it's going to be so exciting.
It's funny. It's almost the alpha and omega thing. Not to be quoting the movie too much again here or whatever, but like when I was a kid, Grayskull was the absolute have for that Christmas when that was released. And it's like if this comes out closer towards the end of the year, now that line's finished with classics, it's like Snake Mountain now has that honor and stuff, and that's pretty cool how that worked out, Yeah. And it's like when you look at that playset, yeah, I mean, like jaw meet floor every time, when you see all of the actual size of it, when you see it in the photos and the amount of details and everything, it's like, yeah, that's a heck of a one to go out on. So.
Well, and they're still available on, let's see. Oh, no, they finally sold out. Yeah, sorry, Snake Mountain's sold out on Entertainment Earth. That's where I bought mine, and it was available for quite a long time. But yeah, no longer.
Wow.
So people missed out if, when they start showing up and they start showing off photos, there are going to be some disappointed people.
Yeah, they'll have to wait another 30 plus years for another Snake Mountain.
Well, I'm very curious to see.
Origins will come out with the Snake Mountain. And
exactly.
Well, hopefully, you figure New Adventures and 2000X did not have Snake Mountain.
Oh, Origins will for sure have Snake Mountain. There's no doubt about that. We'll get we'll get a Castle Grayskull in Origins.
Easily.
And whether it's a totally new sculpt, which I'd be fine with because I already have a Classics Castle Grayskull, or they could re-release the Classics Castle Grayskull with maybe a few different accessories, a different paint job, and a much lower price point than what we would find on eBay.
Yeah, that would make me thrilled right about now.
I personally would love them to do a Castle Grayskull with the second battlement weapons rack that they had in the original version that was done by Rebecca Taylor as
the triangle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one that was customized, done by Barbarossa Customs, but I would love one that came originally with the building.
Well, yeah, some mini comic accessories like the banners and such. Yeah, that'd be a welcome addition to the castle. And if they were to offer that castle, and I would hope that they wouldn't scale it down, I would imagine that they would possibly take out some accessories, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Hopefully they still have the tooling for the Classics Castle.
Yeah.
This way it would bring the cost down, and like you said, less accessories and not as detailed. It doesn't need all the paint apps and all like that.
It would be a little odd to get a totally... it would be odd to get the Classics Castle, but then a totally new sculpt of Snake Mountain, if and when we get one. I mean, there's the question could they use the Super 7 mold? Probably not. So we would have to get a new sculpt. And of course, the size would need, have to be scaled down as well. But
quite a bit bigger.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
Well, I would love to see if they did the Castle Grayskull to make the trapdoor directly over the dungeon so that the figure drops in like the original.
Well, yeah, they could move it and get rid of the jail walls. I would love to see that so that you could see that sticker that's hiding on the floor there. Yeah,
well, I think we've covered a lot for this podcast.
Well, could we mention maybe one more thing?
Sure.
And that's the Noah Centineo being cast in the Black Adam movie.
Oh, I did forget that. I am so sorry. So we do have a possible change to the movie Masters of the Universe because our star is going over to Black Adam. How do you guys feel on that?
I'm actually a little disappointed because he had the look that I was hoping for, but hopefully, like you mentioned previously, that he will actually be able to do both films, but he never can tell.
Yeah, some actors are, keep very busy. We'll see the same actor appear in multiple movies in the same year, and so possibly they saw that he was going to be He-Man, and so they thought, well, he's going to have that sci-fi super or that presence with sci-fi movies, and so let's make use of him in this other, superhero type movie, this Black Adam.
And also it goes with what his contract says, because like I mentioned before, some contracts are more strict than others. And the good thing is the relationship that Mattel has with DC. Since Black Adam's a DC property, it could work out where it'd be easy for him to go between the two.
Right. Yeah.
Well, this is his chance to get the geek cred. And that's
Sure.
the hardest part about the casting of him for a lot of people that are older, over 35 for the fandom. It's who is this guy? There's nothing he's been in that most of us are like, oh, I remember him from this because it's mostly been more aimed at like teens to 20 somethings with the stuff that he's done. So you're putting him into a role where Atom Smasher is a big guy. So the fact that, he is going to have to muscle up for this even more than maybe he already has done to play He-Man, and then to put him in that way, it won't make us look at him in that, well, he's an unknown quantity here. It would be, he was Atom Smasher. Well, we know of him from that movie, and then the chance of him having a better reception from the fandom as He-Man doesn't seem as weird, and that actually might do favors for the film. And the other thing, too, is there hasn't been much about the film for quite a while now. There's been no publicity about it. There's been nothing from the directors, from Sony, from anybody. It's just this movie, quote unquote, will happen. But I feel like that might be a good thing in general too, because that gives them more time going into production to go, okay, how do we make this click for the fandom? Because I feel like Masters is always one of those properties. Like Transformers takes place now. So the idea, you got robots coming in and you got the setting is here. You're good to go. G.I. Joe, similar. Masters is one where it's like, if you can crack that code, you got something. But unfortunately, I think like most people working on it go, how do we crack the code? And they don't know. And maybe in that time period of him doing this other project or this or another project, they'll crack that code properly, and then we'll go, okay, Masters is going to be a well done, fun action adventure sci-fi movie that we can watch finally, or fantasy movie that we can watch.
Well, I think that maybe through Kevin Smith doing the revelations, it might shine some light on the more correct way to do that for the fandom. Because as Kevin Smith recently stated, all the characters will be in their original form from the 80s. There's no redesign, so this is going to be excellent.
I hope so. The one thing I can say about that, and I mentioned it earlier, it's the fandom. Them talking about this cartoon in 2019, and then we found out this year it's 2021 it's going to air. I don't know if they changed that. I feel like somebody told me, no, that's what the plan was all along. They shouldn't have done it that way. They should not have for this fandom, and again, it's like, I have to say it, for this fandom, we are starving for new stuff because we don't get it. Like, we really are craving Give us a new He-Man. Give us a new cartoon. Give us a new movie. Give us new toys. All the bells and whistles we're starting to get, and we're having all these people picking apart so little information about this and wanting to put their own spin on stuff that it's starting to make me angry on that level too, because it's like we don't even have a trailer. We don't know anything beyond a cast list, the people heading it, and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like they could have done it this year. Like they could have actually said, here's something that we're doing, and just promoted it this year, and then we only had a couple months to wait for it versus 2019 in August, and here we are almost a year later, and we still have only about the same amount of information with only a cast list, Well, and it's like,
I think
that's hard.
I think part of the problem was last year at PowerCon, Mattel kept boasting that March of 2020 was going to start the period of the return of Masters of the Universe. We didn't predict. We did not predict the COVID-19 hitting like it did.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things were pushed back. I'd say originally these Origin figures were probably supposed to be spring of 2020, not fall of 2020, because that would coincide with that March date that was plastered all over PowerCon last year. It was at the booth. It was even during the panels. So we can't completely fall.
I'm sorry.
Well, with Kevin Smith, he even said we were in the beginning stages during his panel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and at the panel, all we had was a little clip, a little story about Tila, which
the
a
through
lot of
line of
people
the show.
Took that the wrong way.
Yep.
That it was all going to be about her. I'd say that might be part of the first episode, setting up the whole series.
Yeah, and I agree with that, yeah.
And the logo. And I remember reading Kevin Smith saying they've got most of the writing done, and they're still working on it during the COVID-19, and that it will be released in 2021 as projected during the PowerCon panel. Sorry.
Yeah, and see that's why I was saying it's like I don't know. I'm one of those people where knowing the fandom, it's going to turn into, they're going to read everything they can into the little bits that we get, and then it's going to turn into problems. And it the same with Snake Mountain. Like I said, it's like those two things in the last month. It's like if it's not Revelation, I'm noticing Snake Mountain, and then it's back to Revelation again, and I'm like, can we just be patient just a little bit, please, instead of reading too much into all these things and getting all upset, and then you might not even be right at the end of the day, and you're spouting off all this stuff online, and it's like, it's not worth it. Just calm, relax, it'll happen.
Kevin's been pretty good about letting us know where they are in the production. So on July 14th, on the Masters of the Universe Revelation page, there's an interview with Kevin Smith where he says that, and this is from an interview from about 3 weeks ago, and he said that they're up to animatics. They're very incredibly bare animatics. He says they're breathtaking. He just watched the 5th one. He said that Powerhouse Animation had to shut their offices down. That hasn't really slowed down the progress being made on the show.
Which was expected, that the different studios would be shutting down and restarting.
Right.
From what I understood, they were doing a lot of the animation from home, and they were doing a lot of the voice work from home. So I'm not sure how that's affecting them so much that the studios are shutting down directly.
It's when it comes time to combine all the different parts, and if they're only on the animatic stage, which is still rough drafts of the storyline, bare ink lines, no color and all like that. You still see all the pencil marks. So it's just to get an idea if the show is pacing at the right scale. That's what an animatic is. That's normally when they'll start bringing in the voice actors to match the lip movements of any of the characters also.
Right.
So right now, it would be about the halfway point in the production of a cartoon.
Yeah, makes sense. You know, one thing.
I was also going to say, figuring that they're starting from scratch, they have no pre-made models of all these different scenes. Even if they're looking at the old Filmation stuff, 99% of that has been dispersed. I know I have a lovely 3,000 piece collection of it. And I want to raid someone's closet over in England because he just finished getting a certain collection of cells.
Oh,
And he was teasing them online.
nice.
So even working at home, it's still a long process in animation.
Mm-hmm.
But getting back to Noah Centineo, no, like I until they say he's not connected to it, I'm still like, I kind of want to see what he'll do with it, because like I said, I haven't seen him in anything, and the interviews I've seen, I think that he's got like this charm about him where I'm like, He-Man needs that. It works, and he does have elements of that old vintage head, the features on the original He-Man, where it's like, yeah, he's a little young, but he could grow into that look, and so
Sure.
We'll see what happens. If they didn't say he's off the movie completely, or the movie is getting restructured again, I'm still rooting for the guy. So.
Well, the movie, last I read, the movie's been taken off the schedule. So there's no release date now. As of now, there's no release date of 2021 or 2022 or 3 or 4, anything like that.
Well, last I heard, it was going over to Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I heard. I
is-
heard they were taking it over.
That is a okay. So that it turns out that's basically a rumor that was generated by one news source, and it's a wait and see.
Well, what's interesting about Netflix to me right now is if you look at some of the, and maybe it's just my feed because of the stuff that I watch or whatever, but there is a more of a growing base on Netflix for fantasy than I would have expected. I mean, The Witcher was one of those things that, it was a big deal at the end of last year and all that kind of stuff. Now they have that Cursed one that came out. And then there's some other one that I don't remember the name of it, though. It feels like they're trying to go this route, and I feel like that almost is like them either testing the waters or just kind of like opening the door to, and then you're going to get a Masters of the Universe movie, and it won't feel weird because all this other stuff is now in the public eye in that way. So, I mean, if they don't have it on the schedule, they don't have it on the schedule, like you said, but that I almost feel like they're priming the pump for this, like they should be trying to at least do something, but I don't know. Talk about production hell, I mean, this is the best movie case in point of how production hell works. So
well, there's a lot of things, there's this big package deal that we've been presented with. And I feel like there has to be a lot of pressure going on right now with the company to get this produced, because you have the Origins toy line, you've got the Revelation cartoon series, you've got another Netflix series, being produced. All of these things are supposed to accumulate into this renaissance of Masters of the Universe, and the biggest piece of that puzzle has now gone missing,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
the movie.
Yeah.
Well, I know I've said before, and I'll say again, that the more time they take, the more time they plan, the more time they work the execution of it, the better. Because as much as I love the original Master Universe movie they did in the 80s, I would love for them to wow us with this one, with having Orko and Valcat and the whole fantasy realm of Eternia that we're used to in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just hoping. I personally have much higher hope for the Revelation series to give us that, as opposed to this live action movie.
Well, on top of like us talking about this is funny because I think it was this week even that Scott Knightlick put out his in a movie year video for
Yes, he did.
Spectre Creative, which amuses me now that we're talking about this. And he was actually explaining how the process and the plan was going to be if they could have gotten a movie year in with classics, and how they would have set up the shelves and what they would have done, because they would have had like movie related figures, but then right next door was going to be the classics, and they might have been toned down a little bit for the price point, but they were going to have that, like, basically the Ultimates packaging and all that kind of stuff. And it's like I had that to think about this week. Now we're talking about this, and I'm like, I kind of want to go into like a Walmart or a Target and just see that again and just feel like I'm 4 one more time. Like that would have been like I would be staggering, just going like this is what I've been waiting for, you know. And you know, it's like I hope they do that still. I hope they figure out a way to do that, even if it's on Netflix. But we'll see. I don't know, because I almost feel like this. I mean, She-Ra didn't work in Target that way when they had the Netflix series, and they were on clearance, and there wasn't a lot and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, oh, geez.
Well, that was poor timing between Netflix and Mattel when they released the dolls, and they only had really 5 dolls.
Yeah.
And
they should have been dolls, honestly, given the message of, you know, empowerment that Netflix series had for women. I feel like dolls are a very poor choice.
I mean, I wish they went with the Super 7, because they did do an exclusive Catra and She-Ra to promote the series. It was a New York Comic-Con exclusive, which were action figures. Mattel should have done it like that, with action figures, not the dolls. They should have had more than just one bad guy, which was Catra was the only one that they released. Yes, Shadow Weaver was released as the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and remaining stock was sold at PowerCon. But for the retail, it was poor timing, because when they hit the shelves, it was in between seasons, so there was no new content to drive the sales. Where they were placed, even in the girls' aisles, they were hidden.
Yeah.
I mean, again, going back to Scott's videos, yes, at the price point, it should have been at eye level, because it was your $14.99 doll. They did have the gift or birthday present with Swiftwind and Battle Armor She-Ra, but it was hidden. I know I had to go through 10 different Targets just to find one doll, because not all of them received them.
Well, here's hoping some much better planning when the toys do show up and the Origins figures start showing up, and also to tag on to the She-Ra thing, I do hope that we'll see a subline of She-Ra toys. You know, hopefully the 80s version of the She-Ra would be my preference, but you know, if it's a mix of Netflix and 80s, that's fine too.
And I know that we're all excited for the Masters of the Universe Lords of Power that's supposed to be coming out from PowerCon with the She-Ra they released there. Maybe they'll build upon that.
Yeah, we could see some kind of toy announcements at PowerCon for Origins, and yeah, I can't wait. It's going to
Well, we
be
have to
the
wait
rest
another
of the year. Well, the rest of the year is going to be very exciting for toys, between the San Diego Comic-Con online stuff that we could see, and between the two toy lines for Origins and WWE, and at PowerCon, Snake Mountain, the PowerCon exclusives. I think we're going to get a lot of fun toys. Yeah.
I believe so. So, I'd like to thank you for joining us for this Council of the First Ones. You can find us on Nerds on the Couch on Facebook, and also check out our YouTube page, where you will find past episodes of the Council of the First Ones going back 8 years, showing up on Tuesdays as I take a look back at the Golden Books of Knowledge. Until next time, good journey.
And this is David Clark, owner of AdultCollector.org, a network of pages and groups celebrating everything we love about He-Man and She-Ra. I wanted to just thank everybody, for a wonderful episode. It's so great to have a little PowerCon every other weekend. It's still, very sad, and just, I'm just missing Renee a lot. But we've got to just keep moving on, of course. And but yeah, I just hope everybody at home and all of you are staying safe, and safe and healthy. So good journey, everybody.
This is Master Rex. I would like to thank you all for having me on the show again today, and thank all the fans for tuning in. I hope everyone's staying safe. Good journey.
And this is Sean, and if you want to have a little more He-Man and the Masters of the Universe in your life, feel free to check out. I have another podcast with a buddy of mine, Matthew Dooch, Legends of Grayskull, where we talk about the episodes and the literature of all things Masters of the Universe. So until next time, stay safe and have a good week, everybody, and good journey.
If you liked what you heard, please remember to subscribe to stay up to date with all of our podcasts. Like this video and hit the bell to be notified when we upload new content. This has been a production of Nerds on the Couch. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter in association with AdultCollector.org. You can find them on Facebook. Good journey.